Good day, everyone. For Telesur, I'm Cody Weddle in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin today in the United States, where protests continue in Ferguson, Missouri, demanding an end to racism and to police brutality. Demonstrations continue 2 days following the grand jury decision to not indict police officer Darren Wilson for the death of Michael Brown. The protesters have been met by a heavy police presence. Missouri Governor Jay Nixon has branded activists as lawless criminals. While Telesur presenter from the program And You Don't Stop was arrested by authorities, many of the demonstrators say that police are protecting white business owners and their property and violating African American rights.
Family and to others in the past that have become victims of police brutality and never got the justice that they deserved. I feel that it is horrible, and it's very sad that we have a government that does not protect everybody. It says it is equal for everybody, but it doesn't seem that way.
And we turn now to Colombia, where it appears the government and the FARC guerrilla group could soon resume the stalled peace talks there.
The prospect for a restart in Colombia's peace process received a major boost on November 25th, with the liberation of 2 soldiers captured by the FARC 2 weeks earlier during combat in the northeastern region of Arauca. The International Committee of the Red Cross labelled the handover a success, with the men arriving in good health.
A doctor of the Red Cross, who was part of the team, examined the soldiers to make sure they were in good enough condition to be transported. The soldiers were taken by a Red Cross helicopter to Tame, Arauca, where they were handed over to representatives of the military.
According to progressive political activist Jaime Caicedo, the release provides the hope that the talks can quickly continue. However, he criticised the ongoing military activity in the western region of Chocó, which the FARC have said is preventing the release of General Ruben Dario Alzate, who was captured on November 16th.
Esos operativos militares en gran escala no tienen otra.
These large-scale operations have no aim other than to try to rescue, through violence, people currently detained by the insurgents. It seems the worst crime that could be committed in this situation is to try to rescue them by force.
Intentar por la fuerza rescatarlos.
Despite denouncements from the local population and Catholic Church, the government has so far denied it is engaging in intense military activity in the region. In a statement following the release of the 2 soldiers, the FARC reiterated their commitment to the peace process and called for an immediate halt to military operations in Chocó in order to facilitate the release of General Alzate. The question is whether the government will adhere to those calls. Charles Parkinson, Telesur in Bogotá, Colombia.
And to Argentina now. President Cristina Fernández reappeared in public on Tuesday after being hospitalized for several days. The president delivered a 40-minute speech during the closing of the annual convention of the Argentine Chamber of Commerce. Fernández denounced the vulture funds and their strategies to extract money from developing countries. And now we go to Mexico, where 2 months have passed since local police forces abducted 43 students from the Ayotzinapa Teachers Training College. As protests continue to grow over the disappearance of the students, so does police repression. Activists demand the release of 11 protesters detained during demonstrations on November 20th. As our correspondent Charles Parkinson reports, the calls come in conjunction with demands for the safe return of the 43 missing students.
The sign reads, "Less political prisoners, more politician prisoners." A sentiment aired at this Mexico City demonstration, demanding the freedom of 11 demonstrators who were detained during protests for Ayotzinapa on November 20th.
It is the harassment of legitimate marches. Articles 6, 7, and 9 of the Constitution guarantee us the right to free association, protest, and freedom of expression. However, in the last several marches, there's been a shift away from legality.
Human rights defenders and activists agree that the arrests at the end of the march were not lawful, calling them arbitrary and part of a strategy to criminalize voices critical of the authorities.
There have been too many arbitrary arrests, too many persecutions of social organizations, threats, and too much repression.
coupled with the little headway made in the investigation nearly 2 months after the forced disappearance of the 43 Ayotzinapa students, the detention of 11 protesters has led some public servants to recognize the legitimacy of the boiling social anger.
The lived violence, insecurity, and sharp impunity prevalent in the last several years has caused a sense of distrust in society towards our institutions.
Yet with only 10 days in office, many will be watching whether this new national ombudsman will investigate state abuses or simply allow for the status quo of violence, insecurity, and corruption to continue. Clayton Khan, Telesur, Mexico City.
And thanks to Clayton Khan in Mexico. Taking a look at world news, we go to Austria, where Venezuela, Mexico, Russia, and Saudi Arabia met ahead of the Organization of Oil-Producing Countries Summit on Thursday. The four countries are working on a joint position to counter the recent decrease in oil prices worldwide. The countries, led by Venezuela, will try to convince the other OPEC member states to reduce production in order to maintain prices high. Oil prices fell since June by 30%. And in Europe, U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for European and Eurasian Affairs Victoria Nuland says that it seems very unlikely that Ukraine will be accepted into the NATO military bloc. The U.S. official's remarks come as Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko assures his government will pursue NATO membership. We once again end with an update on the 22nd edition of the Central American and Caribbean Games being held in the southeastern Mexican state of Veracruz. After 11 days of competitions, the Cuban team finally surpassed Mexico for first place. Cubans came out on top after winning various competitions in track and field. Cuba now holds 77 gold medals, 44 silver and 45 bronze for a total of 166 medals. Mexico has fallen to second place with 76 gold, 61 silver, 81 bronze. The Mexicans now have a total of 218 medals. Colombia remains in third place with 52 gold, 54 silver, 53 bronze, and 159 total medals. And Venezuela trails in fourth with 42 gold, 71 silver, and 73 bronze. The Venezuelans have racked up a total of 166 medals. We have plenty more on those stories and plenty others at our website at telesurtv.net/English. For Telesur English, I'm Cody Weddle. Have a great day.